Story 1. Bragging about having a 14-inch penis. Firstly, I don't believe you. Secondly, if you are telling the truth, I want nothing to do with that. That's a weapon. There is no way that would be an enjoyable or even pain-free experience for me. Huge turn-off. Story 2. I had one very attractive boyfriend who very much knew it, and he would practically pose on the lounge waiting for compliments. It was so off-putting. Plus, he used my special moisturizer all the time. I only used it every now and then for special occasions, and when I finally used it again, it was almost run out. So I asked him, and he lied about it. I found him so unbelievably unattractive after getting to know him. He had pretty privilege for too long, and it showed. Story 3. On Tinder, I see a bunch of guys list whiskey as their only interest. Not even a sentence, just the single word. I think they believe it makes them look sophisticated, but it just makes them look insufferable. Story 4. Criticizing my taste in music, books, television, or movies. Talking negatively about other people to elevate their own status. Becoming aggressive without cause or claiming someone disrespected them merely because they had a differing opinion or mentioned something hurtful they did. Boasting about their income. If my priorities were money, do you think I would have chosen a career in teaching? Quite frustrating. Negging. There was an incident where a man in a nightclub approached my friend and me. We are of distinctly different ethnic backgrounds, and asked if we were sisters because we're both so short. He then mentioned he only dates tall women. I had not even attempted to start a conversation with him. He approached us, insulted us without provocation, and then had the audacity to ask for my number an hour later as we were leaving. It seemed he was waiting by the door for us, given the crowded nature of the club, especially since we had excused ourselves to the restroom earlier to avoid him, persisting that I try something after I have already declined. Story 5. There is this horribly uncomfortable thing that some do when they meet you and shake your hand, and then one of their fingers will tickle your palm. Oh my God. Please, for the love of all that is holy, stop that. Story 6. When they think they're being a gentleman but actually being possessive and controlling. For example, ordering food for you without asking what you like. Being randomly aggressive to other men for supposedly looking at my woman. Critiquing a woman's outfit to cover you up when you go outside because he doesn't like other men looking. Putting down other women, also known as "you're not like other girls" or "my exes." Story 7. I'm sorry, but I can't fulfill this request. Story 8. Giving sexual compliments or compliments about certain body parts when they first meet you. Thanks, but sir, you are still a stranger. That's just making me uncomfortable. Can we get to know each other first? Story 9. Talking about how sore I'm going to be the next day. Some guys, for some reason, think they're doing sex the best when they're hurting their partner outside of consensual kinks, and I don't think that's attractive or good. Story 10. I just had yet another guy on the dating apps start talking about his private parts and asking me for pictures of my naked body. He then asked if I was excited, and I told him no. He asked why, and I said, I like to meet in person and see if the chemistry is right, because talking on the dating apps almost always just feels like I'm talking to the same person over and over again. He said that he would be able to meet at around 8 p.m. tonight, and I said, without any heart whatsoever or belief that he would follow through, sure, I can meet at 8 o'clock. Immediately after saying that, I predicted that he was going to end the conversation just to upset me, and I was right. He tried to give me the slip, but I'm so bored and over it that he only fooled himself. Wash, rinse, repeat. The dating app scene is so stale at this point. It's like watching reruns on TV. Story 11. Some guy tried to impress me with his yellow Mustang and then proceeded to speed in and out of traffic. I don't care about cars. Speeding terrified me. Never saw him again. Nice dude, just not my kind of dude. Story 12. Bully nonsense. Type of person to puff himself up and antagonize people but act shocked when he receives the same energy back, especially if it is from someone smaller than him. I hate cowards. Story 13. When they act overconfident and manly. Just be yourself. It's okay if you make mistakes or show your emotions. I honestly find those things endearing, and awkward guys are adorable. Story 14. randomly asking to send nudes. It is either they voluntarily want to send me nudes or they are asking me to send them nudes. I hate those times, and the only time I consider ghosting as a blessing. Story 15. Reckless driving with me in the car, especially when it's my car, is not showing off your skills. It's giving me an anxiety attack. Being repeatedly ultra-competitive with mundane things, especially when I say I don't want to compete, is annoying. Grabbing me when I'm in the middle of doing something, then just standing there not helping, is frustrating. Interpreting being manly as being unhygienic and refusing to shower or groom because it will wash off your natural musk is not manly. No, you're just being lazy and you smell. Story 16. Raise their voice when trying to get their point across or interrupt when anyone is trying to calmly explain their point. My father raises his voice and gets such an attitude when he's impatient, and I wonder why my mother puts up with it. Story 17. Unkind behavior, such as negging, bragging, acting dominant, indicates to me that you're an insecure, fake, and/or immoral person, which is a deal breaker for me. Story 18. Being too loud. Loud cars, talking at a level that makes it seem like they need to be the center of attention. And so many men think that women are impressed by their sports cars. Men are impressed by sports cars, thinking that for some reason we would be impressed by a picture of their private parts or find that the least bit sexy. Just no. Story 19. Discuss going to the gym. Tell me about their last workout. If they talk money in a first conversation, such as, I drive this type of car, etc., instantly I want to run for the hills. Story 20. I'm really turned off by the guys who think of themselves as having elite taste in anything to the point where they like to state all of their opinions as if they're objective facts, especially when these opinions always align with what is already critically acclaimed and not just their own unique tastes. Story 21. Brag about their fantasies of committing acts of violence against those who have wronged him or me. Like, when I hear that, I don't think, wow, what a brave and honorable man. I think, wow, he enjoys brutality too much for me to be comfortable with him. Story 22. Brag about how many women they have had sex with. Seriously, that is not impressive, it is trashy as hell. My ex got drunk one day and texted me that he had sex with over 15 women. I wrote back, laugh out loud, and I did not get a response back. I used to be friends with a guy who would brag about his body count. My dad always told me that any man who brags about how many women he has had sex with is full of it. Story 23. I found many men like to tell me about their previous sexual partners and how they were attractive or skilled at sex, or how the man himself was skilled. Like, okay, talking about other girls you've been with isn't exactly going to melt my heart or where most guys I've met are typically concerned. Story 24. Not taking no for an answer. I know this is a little controversial since some girls like to be chased, but I swear some guys genuinely think that never accepts a no is somehow charming and not giving off a super inappropriate vibe. Story 25. Honestly, the whole bad boy act is a big one. Some guys think being mysterious or a little edgy is super attractive, but it can come off as just trying too hard. Story 26. I had a friend who thought casually playing with a flogger he owned was enticing. He brought it out and was touching it, and then went, "Oh, you're interested in this?" "No, I'm staring because you took a flogger out mid-conversation and expected it to be a panty dropper move." Story 27. Acting unbothered or like they are too cool or masculine to care about anything is nothing more annoying than never being able to tell what someone is thinking because they are so afraid to show any emotion or even interest. Story 28. When men try to act tough or as if they are over someone or something, it's okay to be sad, cry, or be affected by something emotionally. And no, you are not better than a waitress, garbage man, obese person, weak person, homeless person, or so-called dumb person. I could go on. Story 29. My friend buys expensive bread and cheese to impress the cute female cashiers. I am a cashier and I would like to say the same thing I said to him. As a cashier, we do not care at all about you and I am definitely not impressed by your purchase. For all I know, you are someone who has too much disposable income and is definitely foolish to spend it on a piece of bread which can be easily replaced by a cheaper loaf with no significant difference. It's like you guys looked capitalism in the eye and said, "Yes, go ahead." Story 30. I think it's more that they don't understand how unattractive or unappealing it is, but it seems pretty common in many long-term relationships that the man will do something to his partner that she has told him she dislikes or finds a turn off. But the man will insist on doing it anyway. Then these men are super surprised when the sex starts to dwindle. Story 31. Thank you to the person I was recently dating. My answer is now controversial images. What in the world? Where did you find so many animated images? And wait, hang on. Is that a cupcake in her behind? I am still not okay after seeing that one, to be honest. Story 32. Focusing exclusively on themselves in the bedroom. Like, honestly, you're making me dislike your penis by making it the center of the sexual conversation every time without fail. Story 33. I am not a woman, but I have observed numerous men flicking their tongues and/or moving their fingers through the air while gazing at women. I almost wanted to confront them right then and there due to the emotional distress caused by having witnessed that behavior.